Okay. I can't see you yet. Okay, now oh, well, I can't see your picture.
Oh no. Okay.
I can't see your picture. It just says Gabriela Borja or Borja. Hi. I had to get
Hey,
I had to get my sticky notes. So,
good.
yeah, your hair's getting long, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to grow it out. It's
Yeah.
like it's on purpose. I've been, which is weird because I'm impressed by how long I've resisted the getting a haircut. Because
Yeah.
usually I'm like, okay, I'm done,
Cut
cut
it.
it.
That's funny.
But this time I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait. I gotta practice my patience.
Yeah. Are you in your booth?
I am.
You sound a little like different, maybe because you're not using your microphone or using your ear.
I am using my earphones. So I had well a big chaos that hasn't really ended yet. So my phone, there's been some power outages here in Mexico as a whole, but here in Merida specifically, and then even more specifically, like in where I'm located. And so I think that might have like messed up my phone. So my phone doesn't work. So
Oh
I went
shoot.
to the grocery store and bought like this cheap little phone. And which I mean, it
Yeah.
functions fine, but like with I can't use it with certain apps and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little more messy. And then my computer also got messed up
Oh shoot.
because it was connected.
I wonder if it
Because
had like
yeah,
so,
I had it
sorry, so
connected, and yeah,
I'm sorry I
something
stepped on
something
you.
happened.
Yeah.
No,
There's
it's
a
fine. And
there's a delay. I bet you there was like some sort of electrical surge or something like that.
yeah, and so my computer was damaged, and
Hmm.
I didn't buy a new one here because Art is gonna go to the States on the 5th of June. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to wait it out so that he can buy it there because here it's like double the price, if not
Right,
triple.
right. Right.
And so
Gotcha.
I'm trying to wait it out. And then we have a computer, but we haven't used it in years. And so I tried like turning it on and everything, and it doesn't turn on. And so
Yeah.
I haven't even been worked.
Oh, you haven't even been working. It's been hard. I've been trying to stay on track myself. I have to tell you, my chaos is that what was I gonna I have like a couple sticky notes and now I can't even read my stupid handwriting. But the man babe is been obsessed with Sam's Club. We've now moved from Costco to Sam's Club. Don't worry, we're not sponsored by either. And it's closer. And so he is obsessed with white towels. And he has to have a lot of white towels. And so since he's been going to Sam's Club, he's been buying white towels every single time he goes. And so he's like, because we need more, because some people shower with the towel and then they're done with it. And some people shower and use it again, right? So this is kind of like a normal household thing. It depends on your
The
preference.
preference, yeah.
Yeah. But like he absolutely only wants white towels. And so his thought was, well, we have more towels, then we won't run out of them. And I'm like, we're running out of them just as quickly as we were running out of them when we had less towels. Now I just have more towels to
You're like, I just have more laundry.
yeah, I just have more problems. Like more doesn't mean things are going to be fixed or, solved. Like it's just going to cause me more fucking problems. So I was like, oh my God, sorry, I'm a little sassy today. Hi Lloyd.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can
Like,
hear
Yes, we
you.
can.
We
okay,
we
cool.
Hi.
match in our color
Oh,
coordination.
yeah.
Oh, you do.
I just don't have a cool t-shirt. Um our power went out as well because we're heading into rainy season. And it was crazy because this is my also a little bit of like home chaos. I got the man babe a brand new coffee maker because his broke, and you know how we feel about coffee in this household. It's like, it's very important. And and so I reset the clock on the new coffee maker, but I did not reset the programmable time. And I hit it to like, be programmed to turn on automatically the next, for the next morning. So last night I was woken up at about 12:45 in the morning. And I had a
No.
full pot of coffee brewed. I was like, oh, you got it. I just unplugged it. I was like, I'll deal with this in the morning. I'm too tired.
I mean, maybe it was just time for coffee.
I know.
Maybe any time is time for coffee.
That's
Your
very
coffee
true.
was like, it's
Yeah, the coffee was like, it's time. Lloyd, do you have any chaos? I feel like you always have chaos too.
Um, Probably. I, for whatever reason, the bathroom lights and fans won't turn on. That's why, and I went and like flipped all the breakers and stuff. The air conditioning's working, so that's fine. But we got notification from our apartment that they were going to be doing work around the complex today. I don't think it's related. Someone had to put in a maintenance request. That's what I was. My not full power outage, thank God. I don't know. My
Did you sleep yet? Have you slept?
I've slept, but I think I've slept well this week.
Good.
You know,
Yeah.
no, well, I don't. I said I don't think I've slept well this
Oh,
week.
you haven't slept well. Okay.
Yeah, I've been in a
Gab,
very.
what?
I took today off because I literally on Tuesday I told my boss I was like, I'm gonna be sick on Friday because my
You're,
brain
oh,
is. Yeah, I won't get into it, but I've been very angry, well, frustrated this week for a lot
oh
of reasons.
no.
And so I'm just like, we're alive. We're
Gabby,
good.
I just sent you a message in the chat, or actually I went to everybody, but that's okay. So do you want to like expand on that? Is it,
No,
or no? Okay, that's fine.
no.
Um, I was gonna tell you guys another little funny thing. Because my husband had a birthday recently, a big birthday, and he's been talking about this big birthday for over a year. Like, I'm like, can we not talk about this birthday anymore? Like, I'm over this birthday. And we were supposed to go on a trip, but we ended up canceling it for, financial reasons, and also, obviously like he took a new job, so he couldn't really go on a vacation and all this stuff. But um, it was funny because he always messes with my kids. And so like Mom's Day had happened too, right? Like, didn't it? It happened. Yeah, it's already happened. So my youngest like looks at my husband, he goes, he was so cute. He made me this like little card. It was like handmade for Mother's Day, which happened like a little while ago at this point. And so he stops and he goes, Dad, this is before his birthday. He's like, Dad, did we celebrate Dad's Day? Like, have we celebrated you? And my husband is like, he's like, no, you guys probably all forgot about it and forgot about me and like went on this whole thing. And like, my youngest was like, Blake, he's also in voiceover. He was like, like devastated that. And then my husband's like, just kidding. So actually, he also went back. My youngest went and Googled when Father's Day was this year to make sure.
oh.
He's so cute. Hi, Danica. Hi, Brian.
Hey, how's it
Hi,
going?
sorry we're late.
Hi
Oh,
guys.
it's
Life, it
chaos.
happens.
Hi.
Yeah, it's life. It's okay.
No
Perfect,
big
thank
deal.
you.
No, that happens all the time. We're happy that you guys are here. We were just kind of like chit-chatting and doing a little behind the scenes and sharing our chaos from towels to power outages and
Oh yeah.
electronics going haywire. And
Uh-huh. We
yeah.
got all of that too. Yeah.
Are you guys in Mexico too? Are you guys okay, so you guys
Yeah. Yeah. Our sons go to the same school as Gabby's son. So
oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
nice.
That's
yeah.
actually how we
That's
met.
awesome. What?
That's
What?
actually how we met.
Yeah. I think I remember you telling me that. So anyways, I was just like sharing a little bit of chaos, but I'm happy that you guys are here. I think the biggest issue when you make a change in your career is one, transitioning from one career to the next career.
Hmm.
Two, for me personally, like diving back into the industry, like I haven't really been at a job, right? Like I haven't had to redo my resume in like quite a while because I've been an at-home mom working part-time in radio and then other little side hustles. And so I
Mm.
feel like the dreaded resume is a pain in the butt, right? And I'm gonna
Yes.
let Gabby sort of like ease us into the conversation.
So what caught my attention was that in our like industry, we have to network, we have to brag about ourselves. But how do you do that? And it didn't really dawn on me until I met Danica, and I was like, oh my God, of course, I need to know this skill and I need your help because I have no idea how to do this, like where to start. And I feel weird doing it. Like it doesn't come naturally to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Danica, please,
Yeah.
how
Marketing
do
is
you
hard.
brag about yourself? How do you create a resume?
Well, I mean, we won't be surprised to hear that we hear that a lot, that people are not good at bragging about themselves. We've just been so conditioned that we should just be humble and not say too much. But on your resume, it's really important that you showcase what makes you stand out from everyone else who did that same job as you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
And it's
there's a bit of a sweet spot between being humble and bragging that we kind of toe that line so that it's not you you come off with someone who's genuinely, proud of what they've done without sounding like there's a little bit of embellishment there. So
sure.
Right.
mhm.
Well, I had this like epiphany because I knew we were going to be meeting. I have an older son and he's graduated from high school. So we went through the whole graduation process. And,
Mm.
in that ceremony, there's several speeches, right? And several speeches were kind of just words being said, right? Just words being said.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't get any feels from it. I didn't even understand really what they were what the message was, really, I mean, but there was one speech and she touched on all these different points, that were relatable. I could understand her. She was conversational. She had a lot of like bright moments to share that personalized the speech. And I
Right.
thought, oh my God, like that's what I need to do with my resume because all my resumes are like, hi, I can do this, but it's
Right.
nothing like wowing anybody, right?
Mhm.
So you guys
Yeah,
can,
we work a lot on getting people's achievements out of them, things that they wouldn't exactly perceive otherwise as being an accomplishment, and it actually is. People will be like, well, I just did my job, but what what did you do that set you apart?
right.
Did you suggest something that made everyone's lives a little bit easier? Did you discover that you can get a different type of pen and it's going to save your company money by just switching to something simple like that? Did you automate something? What did you do that wasn't exactly in your job description, but you
Mhm.
did anyways and was beneficial to the company? So that's what we really focus on.
I love that. I think like I had to redo my resume and I had to make an entertainment resume so we can talk about that because I do on camera and I do voice acting, so that's like a whole thing.
Mm,
But
Mhm.
right.
interestingly enough, like I come from radio and I like in my little like blurb I put I did many different things, including I was always the one to do the fill shift, like whenever I was needed. And I thought, well, I shouldn't put that in there. And I was like, no, I should because that sets me apart from other
Yeah.
people. It shows that, you need someone, I'm going to be there and I'm reliable, And so just putting that little like extra something in your little, to showcase you. So that totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian, how does submitting a resume work?
Well, these days, it's definitely different. In the last 5 years or so, it's completely changed. Before it was, you went to the wherever you wanted to work, or you would email it in. There wouldn't be any sort of parsing or anything like that, any sort of organization. It would just be hand your resume in, they look at it, done deal. Now, it's not just big corporations that have this filtering software now. There's even mom and pop shops are doing it now. It's a cheap option for pretty much anybody who's hiring now. So
Hmm.
our there's parsing software called ATS, and ATS you can custom
Applicant tracking
yeah sorry applicant
systems.
tracking system where a company can automate their resume receiving so that if they have a job posting for say a voice actor, if you don't mention ABC on your resume, it'll automatically filter it out.
Oh my gosh. You have to
Yeah.
talk our language though, because some of that, thank you for
Yeah.
expanding on that. So it's automated. So when you submit your resume, they're literally like, they're already screening you. Like it's not even getting in front of a human if you don't have the correct verbiage.
Exactly. They've
Right.
taken humanity completely out of it. It is all automated.
Yeah.
It's completely parsed. Uh, there are ways, the way that we write our resumes is we found ways to crack that code.
Yeah.
so that we get you in the door. I mean, we can't guarantee you the job. Obviously, you have to do the interview process and everything, but we've kind of mastered ways to get around ATS, so you don't have to worry about it. Because like right now, if you submit a resume on a website, you click submit and it just goes off into the ether, and you might hear something, you probably won't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get a rejection within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And that is specifically ATS. It is just bouncing you right back.
Or you hear
Right.
crickets.
I mean,
And you're like,
it's just
hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
Go
And
ahead.
it's extremely
Sorry, Lloyd.
stressful to go
Yeah.
through that kind of, because then you're wondering, well, there's something wrong with my education, my experience. Is it the resume itself?
Yeah, one of the bad things about ATS tracking systems is that they're very peculiar and particular about what it will and will not accept. So, down to everything like your font. If you use the wrong font, it could just automatically reject your resume because the ATS algorithm can't read it. And so it'll just go, oh, can't read this next. And you're passed over. So it never even looks at your information. It just sees that you have used the wrong font and it kicks it out. So there's a lot of things that you have to watch out for. And, most people don't know what to put on their resume, how to format it, what not to do and what to do in order to get your resume past that initial screening.
Even
Right.
font size can bounce you.
Wow. Lloyd, did you have a question? I feel like.
Yeah, no, it's not really so much a question as much as a statement, but I mean, as far as the parsing goes, it really just feels like, SEO for your resume.
Essentially,
They're just looking for keywords.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's actually like a really good point.
that's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't even think about that too. And like I think my thing is I always get tripped up on where do I start? How do I get started? Where do I begin? And then like even and then I get stuck like writing, you might actually it's easy to like list your current jobs. I mean, do you think that like entertainment resumes are different than like a regular job resume, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, can you like expand on that a little bit? Like I know a little bit. I mean, like this whole setup is different. Like it has to be in columns, and right? I mean,
So you have to, with entertainment resumes, I mean, we've been at this for about 6 years now, and I mean, we've probably done 400 entertainment resumes of that block. Um,
wow.
so you have to dance around what entertainment resumes need to express, as well as dancing around ATS. So it can get entertainment resumes are, at least in my opinion, the most complicated of all to do.
Project based a
Yeah.
lot of times.
A lot of people tackle an entertainment resume from the standpoint of, I don't want to say name dropping, but they focus on, well, I worked on Bones and I was under this guy, or I, tutored under this director, and that none of that stuff matters at all. It's more about what, like when you, at the end of the day, if you're talking to a recruiter for, say, Fox Television, they don't care that you worked on Lost or Grey's Anatomy, or they don't care. They care that you did your job, you did it cheaply, you did it quickly. You can plug as many holes as they need you to plug, and you're able to just quickly adapt to your circumstances. So you almost have to take entertainment completely out of it and just express the strengths you have that entertainment companies are looking for.
Interesting. Okay. Gabby, did you have a question?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to think
I know you're
how to
fine.
word it. Yeah. So with entertainment resumes, like what's how difficult is it for someone to express, like who is in that field, for them to express to you like what they've done? Do you send out like a questionnaire, or do you ask a question like personal questions? Like, are you like FaceTiming them? Are you on the phone call? Like, because I like, if you ask me, I would take a moment to like think about what I have done, and like, is it really important? Like, should I put this down? So how is that process?
With most of our clients, we found a very concise and efficient ways to talk to our clients and get out of them what we need. So we kind of lead them on kind of this conversation, and by the end of it, Well, certainly, usually at the beginning of a conversation, they are completely stuck. They have no idea what to say. They don't know what they've even done. I mean, especially in entertainment, I mean, every day you're putting out fires. So it can be very difficult to pinpoint the big ones because every day there's something going on.
Yeah.
So we've, with all the experience that we have now, we are able to kind of target questions so that we can get all the information we have and then build the resume around that.
Yeah.
It's very important to understand where you're going with entertainment. You can't, there's no such thing as a general entertainment resume, just because there's so much nuance and complexity that unless you know where you're going, you're treading water most of the time, at least.
So I have a question. So like if I'm doing on camera
Mhm.
and voiceover, so with my resume, I just basically, put all my information at the top, right? And my name, my height, weight. No, height, not my weight. Scratch that. And then obviously my contact information. And then I have listed, I have different sections where, I list like where I've trained, right? That's a section. And I show like who I've trained with. And then I have also like a section for film and TV. And then right now I'm just, I'm adding almost everything I'm doing because I'm still building my resume. But I'm assuming that as you get going and you get further in your career, you want to make sure that you have like maybe, do you do like just your top three, and then expand on what you brought to the table for those particular, um, you know, projects that you worked on, you know what I'm saying? And then do I have to, like and then maybe I have like a voiceover section, and then I have like maybe someone has theater section. And oh, I have people behind me. And then do you like, or do you not do that? Do you just do a simple one page and, highlight, your training and highlight maybe possibly like where your education, and then you have a separate like credits sheet, like that. And okay, this is multiple questions, sorry. And then picture, picture or no picture, right?
Mhm.
I do have
Uh,
children behind me.
my straight away for that would be absolutely not.
No
No
picture?
graphics, no logos, no. If you go into Microsoft Word and you type in, like resume template, or you go on Canva or anything like
No
that,
pictures.
you can take every template they have and throw it in the garbage. All of them will get you. I don't understand it because you would think that
Yeah, they all
they,
have pictures.
yeah, they're setting you up for
Yeah.
failure right away. And that's not just me saying it as a business owner who runs resumes. It just doesn't make any sense to me. If you put a picture on your resume, it's gone.
Really?
Absolutely.
Even
Unless
entertainment?
yep, unless you're doing
Yes.
a physical handoff, you don't have no
Wow.
graphics, no color, even columns, background coloring, anything like that, gone. Even lines can get you in trouble.
Really? Well,
Even
there
certain
That's
goes my resume.
too.
I'll
Yeah.
just crumple that up and throw it out the window.
So with entertainment, so say, just using you as an example, um, if I were to write your resume, I would focus on, there wouldn't be any kind of any, even if you are an actress on screen, there would be nothing about like attributes, height, or anything like that.
Okay.
There wouldn't be anything uh, about like the voice acting would come into play,
Right.
but it's much more focused on the nuts and bolts. So if you were a voice actress and say you ran your self-employed voice actress,
Mm-hmm.
you'd be far more focused on how you go about doing that than on
Mm.
acting itself, because they know you can act.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be applying.
Yeah. How do we do that though? Right? Because it's like then you have to figure like what Gabby was saying earlier. We're circling the
Yeah.
wagons around. Like how they're like, I don't know. I'm in front of
Yeah.
a microphone and
Yeah.
I'm looking at a script and I'm choosing a voice and I'm an emotion. Like
Yeah,
That's why it's great that you have questions.
yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we actually do send out a spreadsheet as well to all of our clients that has, oh gosh, I don't know how many. We sort of have prompts like,
Like at least 100
when
now.
did you do something that, made somebody's day better? Or, when did you do something that solved a problem? Or when did you come up with solutions that nobody else thought of?
Mm.
Sort of prompts that go, oh, wait, yeah, I did do that. And then you sort of jot it down there. And then you pick the ones that you feel like represent you and what you've done and you know, how much better you are than every other candidate.
So
And
much
then,
better. I'm
yeah,
just joking.
and then you flesh those out so that you're focusing on what you think are your best attributes and the biggest um, attributes that you are trying to convey to other employers that
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's like that, you know, basically seals the deal, right? Like it
yeah
sold, you're hired.
Like with your podcast, as just an example. I'm sorry, I keep focusing on you here, but so just the
Mhm.
podcast itself, uh, that would scream to me collaboration, project management, attention to detail, problem solving, logistics,
time management.
budget
Mhm.
management, priority management, leadership,
Mhm.
communication.
I
It's
love you. All right.
it
Yeah.
gets,
I'm gonna go back and take some more notes.
well, it
I'm
gets
grabbing
pretty
the
deep pretty
sticky
fast.
notes.
Yeah. Luckily, we've it's come with experience because we've
Yeah.
worked with so many clients that we can talk to someone for 5 minutes and I can rattle off
Oh my God. That
a
makes
hundred
me
things
think.
that we can include. So that would be more the podcast would be, it's almost like you have to fade it into the background and
Yeah.
focus on the fact that you couldn't run a podcast without collaborative skills, project management, communication, problem solve. Like I was saying before, problem solving. I mean, a fair amount of marketing, communication. It's just the list
Mm-hmm.
goes on and on and on. And once you latch onto that, it becomes a lot easier to market yourself.
Okay, I love that example. That really
Yeah.
actually really fully like paints a really nice picture of what you guys do, you know, and I love that. Like I totally love that. Go on, Gabby, what were we gonna say?
Yeah, well, just to add on to that, I love it also because you get down to a personal level and
Mm-hmm.
that changes the whole aspect of it. And it even makes it feel like more like cozy and at home instead of like this cold thing that you have to like do to in order to get hired.
Yeah.
Um, so I do have a question. How did you like was it easy to like the transition from like a normal corporation resume to an internship resume?
Yeah.
Not really, to be honest. It's just a different side of the same coin.
Mm.
And one thing I've been meaning to mention that kind of lends into that too is that from a voice actress to a podcast host to, I mean, I can't get into much detail, but like the client I had today, just writing a resume today,
Yeah.
uh, was so high up that I was looking at their project history and trying not to fanboy because they have been an art director on most of my favorite shows,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's hard to like talk to this person. Like you kind of have to build up the composure over time because I'm just this small town guy. So you talk to someone and they're name dropping people that you have
Yeah.
never, like, you wouldn't even fathom being able to meet them in real life. So
Right.
not just
They're
like
on first
regular
name
people.
basis.
Yeah, and it's not
They're
just
real.
Yeah.
Like they're actually real people. Yeah.
so it's not just regular people that are having these difficulties. It's
Yeah.
top level executives, people that you would think would
Mhm.
be able to just snap together a resume. It's right to the top, like CEOs, COOs, directors, presidents, the whole works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's you're going through the weeds no matter who you are. So
Yeah.
it's at least comforting to know that even if you can't start or you have a block and you're just, and even an entry level person in the entertainment industry, well, the guy paying your bills has no idea how to do it either.
Right.
Mm.
It's interesting you said about the podcast because like that just right there, that also example, you know, I put podcast host and producer. That's
Mhm.
it. That's all I put on my resume. That doesn't nearly chip away at like what you guys had said, you know? Like I mean, so how you guys sort of like unfolded all of that, I mean, that's amazing. Question, like, do you ever have someone come to you? I mean, obviously you can't like give names or anything like that, but like you're like, holy shit, not only fangirl or fanboying, you know, but like you're like their job is just so crazy. You're like, holy, like,
Yeah, we've
Yes.
had clients that I know in terms of,
Yeah,
like,
we've heard of them
we know
before.
them, like they're I don't want to say like famous, but like names that and it's like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
can't believe I'm talking to this person.
mm,
And
Mhm.
uh yeah, there's some, the jobs can get really really complicated,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
it's all about simplifying everything,
yeah,
right, getting down. So as like a podcast a host, you're putting out fires all the time. all the time. So just the just being a podcast host on its own is an accomplishment, because I know how difficult it is to do that these days.
Mm-hmm.
So you just expand on the complexities of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's your foundation right there.
And then you just go from there. Interesting. And you know, you have another good point. You guys have both another good point, is the fact that like it doesn't matter who you are. You could be like the top exec, or you could be like just starting out anywhere in any industry. And you need people these days are working much longer and
Mhm.
are changing industries and reinventing themselves and like go, you know, at any age and stage in their career and lives, you know. And I just had this conversation with my teenager. I'm like, you don't have to decide what you're going to do for the rest of your life right now. You can decide what you are interested in doing right now and then keep reinventing yourself, you know,
Yeah.
as you go along, which comes in with a resume. Like,
Sure.
yeah,
Especially these days, you kind of have to.
yeah,
If someone were to, and again, I do this every day. I deal with like I said, entry level to high end executives. So I have a lot of experience with this. But if someone, like if your son came to me today and asked me, what degree should I get to have the best prospects for the future, I would not have an answer for him.
right.
We're living in
But
an
you could
era
make a
where,
mean resume.
yeah,
We could make a
Yeah.
mean ass resume.
because if he say he started in computer science in say September, he was starting up in university. By the time he's completed his degree, he might be obsolete.
Right. The
Oh,
information learned might not be relevant
Yeah.
to
So the
whatever the
whole
environment
everything is changed so much that that even people who don't have an education, it's not even that much of a hindrance anymore. It used to be huge. Oh, you don't have a
Mhm.
university education, we're not going to hire you.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Matter anymore.
Yeah, if you can showcase that you have all those same skills that somebody who is more educated than you has, then it makes no difference to the
Mhm.
employer.
Really? That's interesting.
Well, I
Yes.
mean, I think it's one of those things where like having the skills is more important to someone than being like, oh, I went and got a degree, because realistically speaking, everything you can learn in school, you can learn online for
Absolutely.
free.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, these days, yes, these days you can for
Sure.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Or like having hands-on experiences. I mean, you can't, it's not, you can't even match that. I mean,
Mhm.
anybody can go to school and like, you know, just because you learned out of a book and took some tests doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to do it. So
Mhm.
real life experience. Okay, so I know there's one point that you guys had sent us that I really want to talk about, is that dreaded AI, right? So
Yeah.
like I feel like, right, Gabby, do you want
Yes.
to, yeah.
That was my next question. Like,
Okay,
how
I'll
is
let
that
you.
gonna like affect well, yeah. AI, can you please get into it? How will it affect and change everything?
AI has totally changed the landscape of so many things in life, from
Yeah,
like,
including our own field.
yeah, voiceover, on camera. I mean, even like resumes, it sounds like, and I mean everything. I mean, we have AI everywhere. Like people are bitching about it, but it's everywhere. It's been around forever.
Right, be right back.
Oh,
My kids' friends
Yeah.
are at the door.
When it comes to AI, I dabble in AI quite a bit now. But the one thing, again, not to, I don't want to blow smoke, because obviously I run a resume business.
sure.
I am not worried about AI at all when it
Oh,
comes to resume writing, when it comes to copy, anything like that. Voice acting, I would be, that's definitely something you'd have to adapt to. There's also kind of an undercurrent in the industry, is that a lot of people don't want AI to
mm-hmm.
for their entertainment. They don't want. There's already backlash against too much CGI and stuff like that. So being a voice actress is still something that you can actively pursue, because people will always prefer people.
Yeah, humans. Yeah.
AI will take a
Mhm.
chunk. It always does.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are some industries that I would be worried about, but there are other industries that are pretty much AI proof at this point. Luckily, resume writing is one of them. So
You guys are safe. I was just thinking to myself, I went to my doctor's this week, and they had completely changed their whole phone tree, and they had like maybe a nurse or like someone office staff like voicing their phone tree, and but then now it's totally AI. And I'm like, oh, I hate the prompts. Like, I don't like I don't like the voice, you know, like, yeah, so I'm not a big fan of AI stuff. But anyways.
And
Fun.
a lot of the industry, especially, is a lot of companies are implementing AI without understanding AI.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get to not necessarily like a reckoning point, but sometime soon, a lot of companies are going to get into situations where their AI doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
No one knows how it works. No one knows how to fix it. All their systems are gone now. All their
Mm.
processes have moved to AI, and it's just going to be like a brick and water.
I hope that happens.
Yeah, they're telling people to eat rocks for vitamins and minerals now. So,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
it's
That's
not always a good
True.
solution.
it's not always like accurate.
Yeah.
So you get your resume built and you work with them to expand on, not just like the vanilla, I
Keep
don't
it
know.
light, basically.
You basically take podcast hosts and then we expand it into something like, wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now we got to find a job. Do you guys help with that, right? Like you help, I mean, for us, like finding clients is in marketing and all that kind of stuff is like a big deal. And I know you guys work with LinkedIn, which I am like, I'm on LinkedIn. I know I'm not using it the way I should be using it. I know I'm not optimizing it the way I should optimize it. I'm kicking and screaming and having a little like 2-year-old tantrum about it. So, but you guys help with that as well. It sounds like you're not just like, here's your resume. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Have a nice
no,
life.
we definitely provide sort of a package of information that we give to all of our clients that tells them exactly how to optimize their LinkedIn. Like 90% of recruiters and employers use LinkedIn searching for the best candidates.
Yeah.
So it's really important that it gets a makeover and make sure that you have all the settings correct. And like there's so many settings in LinkedIn that people have no idea about, and it's dramatically decreasing their chances of getting noticed by hiring authorities.
Mhm.
So that's also really important to be done as well.
So LinkedIn offers, because since we're creatives, they offer an opportunity for you to be more of like a creative type person on LinkedIn. So it's a little bit more interactive versus like businessy.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that? That's my first part of my question. So for like that would work for our industry, but not for everybody's. Because people are like now posting like they would post on Facebook and
Oh yeah.
Instagram,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The problem with LinkedIn will always be that it's LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
I
I
agree.
work with it all the time, as a necessity. Basically, it's not very intuitive. They don't really tell you when they're changing things. It's not a very it's not a good platform, but it's the only platform.
Yeah, we're stuck
So
with it.
Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah. So there are ways to just kind of I don't set it and forget it, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
Or you can just we can set your LinkedIn profile up in a way that you're going to get maximum attention, essentially an SEO,
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's good.
you can make a post every couple of days, and you're golden. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, LinkedIn has kind of become integral to the whole process now.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm like I don't know what the lingo is, but it's set on business mode. It's set on like creative mode. And then someone said, no, switch it back to business mode. I'm saying the wrong lingo. And then I was like, fine. And then someone's like, no, put it back to the creative mode. I'm like, oh, what do I do? I'm like throwing spaghetti at the wall. I'm like, it looks good. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't look good. Go ahead, Lloyd.
I could never do LinkedIn because it's I can't put the same creative. I can't just say what I want. I can't
Yeah.
I have ADHD and I rattle my thoughts. My pinned tweet on Twitter is
Oh God, here we go.
it's like being an adult is realizing that the first line of the musical Rent is basically becoming more and more true. And I'm like, I can't just put that on LinkedIn. Everybody will think I'm crazy.
But then this is the second part of my question. So thank you for leading into this. Like, Lloyd works as a professional at a profession. He has a job that's outside of the creative realm, right? So he's already established on LinkedIn. Okay,
Mhm.
you're not
It's I mean it's a production job, so it's like
right.
creative.
Well, okay, there's a little bit of gray area, but
Yeah.
like you know, so it's like, does he expand and add in, you know, voiceover into his LinkedIn account that he already has established? Or, I mean, I guess you're a little bit of a conundrum there, but like, you know, somebody else who has like, you know, an executive that's not in any sort of creative way and they transition and not just retire and go into voiceover, but like actually, you know, want to transition into voiceover full time and get it started while they're still working, do they create an entirely separate, you know, entertainment LinkedIn page? Like,
No,
No.
no. Okay.
Good.
no, not at all.
Good.
Yeah, you just expand on the profile you have, more or less.
Are,
There's no real distinction between, say, a professional and an entertainment LinkedIn. We consider entertainment to be professional.
Right.
So it's funnily enough, the worst LinkedIn profiles on LinkedIn are all employees of LinkedIn.
Mm.
Just you go
so
to like the head of LinkedIn and go to his LinkedIn profile, it's terrible. It's like you won't even have a profile picture, so it's just very amusing.
we
You know,
should use pictures on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
very.
Okay. Okay. So I we have a voiceover friend who's a part of our you know, our group outside. Like we have a, I don't know, accountability group, I guess, more like accountability social group. That's a
Mhm.
thing for voice actors. And you know, she's fully established and she's just kind of like, no, I'm absolutely not going to merge my voice acting into like my career LinkedIn. I don't want to mesh those worlds together. I mean, that's okay too, right? I mean, could she start a separate LinkedIn for just voiceover so that she can start looking for clients? Because a lot of people utilize LinkedIn in the voice acting world. Yeah.
Still wouldn't suggest it.
Okay.
yeah. Well, and this is kind of following up on what you said about not doing it, right? I feel like it's okay to do it. That's fine, but it's ineffective.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Essentially, you'd be
Like,
wasting
Yeah.
more or less.
yeah.
Okay.
That, oh, LinkedIn.
Having more experience than just your current focus is never a bad thing. Like, it's never a bad thing to say, I was in the tech industry for 20 years and now I'm doing this. Like, it's never a bad thing to have more experience
Mhm.
and to
I
have
love that.
experience in different worlds.
That's
This
exactly
is,
what I was looking for. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The old
I
tropes
think,
are still kind of around where people still think, okay, if there's a career break, it's gonna mess me up, or if I transitioned at some point, it's gonna mess me up, or if I shifted industries, it's gonna mess me up. It doesn't really matter anymore. It used to.
Mm-mm.
I remember when I was growing up, you weren't working for 2 years. Oh, no one's gonna hire me.
Right.
Yeah.
The pandemic has completely changed everything,
Yeah.
where
Okay.
lots and lots of people have had to completely reinvent themselves. So those career breaks, those shifts in industry and stuff like that, they don't really matter that much anymore. If anything, if someone can shift an industry, it's beneficial, really.
Yeah. I like that. That
We've
you're,
had, people who have had to take, 5 years off to care for an aging parent, for example. And with our resumes, we focus on the last 10 years of your work history. And so
mm,
5 years is a big deal. But, we have ways of, what were you doing during that time? Were you managing the schedule of your parent? You're booking doctor's appointments, you're getting them to there, you are dealing with billing, you are doing work. It just, you have to focus on that part of it, and you can still have a great resume that showcases all of your skills even if you're not technically employed. it's
mm.
it's still possible, like stay-at-home moms, all of that. You can still definitely create a good resume that showcases your abilities even if you weren't technically working,
You're hired.
Yeah.
I think, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying about resumes, about how it's kind of how they've completely taken the person out of uh, the process.
Yeah.
It's really weird to me because I actually had a conversation yesterday. So I'm a media specialist for one of the largest school districts in the country in USA. And I do photography, videography, and I was getting pictures and some photos of teachers. And what was really frustrating to me is they were doing this like big training thing, and they finished their stuff and they went to get lunch, and they're just interacting with each other, very genuine, having a good time. And I'm like, these would be great pictures. Nobody's ever going to want these pictures because these are human beings acting like human beings.
Right.
You know? And it's very frustrating when you look at, going back to the whole separating, whether there should be a separation between the professional and entertainment,
Okay,
air
I like where you're
quotes.
going with this. Yeah.
It sucks that people have gotten to a point, and rightfully so, because we've kind of had it drilled into us for so long, that you can't just be a full person.
Mm.
And
And we totally understand that we deal with that all
That's
the time.
deep. That's
Yeah.
deep. Yeah.
What we do to kind of deal with that problem as well, because I mean, I grew up listening to punk rock, all that other stuff. Like, I've never been the corporate kind of guy. So the approach that I've always had with resumes, especially, and why we've had so much success, is that we take what we have to do. So the ATS means we have the walls, the bones of the resume.
Yeah.
So you're in the door. But then what we do with the content of the resume is we inject the humanity into it. So that's another reason why career breaks and stuff like that don't really matter anymore, because
Right.
in a world where everything has been reduced to kind of a number, you it's beneficial to have that kind of humanity in the resume to flesh it out. So we can get you in the door, and then content itself will actually help you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Have you ever had a client that really had you stumped?
That had us stumped?
Yeah.
Like
that.
Yes and no.
Like difficult to work with, I guess.
Oh, for sure. For sure. There's definitely been some clients who have been, difficult to work with, who give us one set of information and then we write their resume and we send it to them and they go, well, that's not at all what I said. Well, I'm reading your words on a document right now. And yes, indeed, that is what you said.
That sounds like parenting.
Yeah. And I mean, also, yeah, for sure. It's also, we know that job searching, job hunting, it's not fun. And a lot of times it's being done in a time where it is extremely stressful. Like if people have gotten laid off unexpectedly and they're having to find a new job after, however long, that's a very stressful time. And so we don't take anything personally, because we know that, this person is struggling and we're there to help, and we don't want to make it any more difficult than it already is. And
that's awesome.
We give them grace and like, okay, so that's not what you wanted to say, so can you tell me what you did want to say?
Right. And it probably takes a couple times too. It probably takes a couple conversations. I mean, we don't always get it right with our clients the first time. I mean, we hope, but sometimes you have to do sometimes there's a couple takes. We have to do a couple revisions. You're not going to get it. Or maybe you got half of it right, and then the other half is like, no, we need to redo this. So I mean, nothing is perfect in life, right? So that happens. And I like that you give grace, because I think you're right. People are stressed out if they've lost their job, and obviously they're coming to you for a reason, because they're stuck and they need help, right?
For sure.
Gabby, I feel like Gabby had a question.
Oh yeah.
I have a couple.
She's like, I have a lot. I'm keeping an eye on time.
I love the humanity of it, because you do keep it very, very humanized and not scary at all, really. Like if our listeners are out there and want to reach out to you, like I feel like it even sounds welcome. Like you can come to us, we can help you, we will guide you. And did you always start out that way, or was it something that implemented with time?
We're a family business. We've been doing this we started 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're not a business built out of resume writers per se.
Right.
We come from writing backgrounds. We come from customer service. We come from business backgrounds, I find that it's been very beneficial for us to not come from a rigid technical writing background, because that's when the whole process, the life is sucked out of it. Half
Mm,
of the half of what we one of our strengths, I guess I should say, is that getting to the completed resume sometimes can be rewarding. It can be, because you're talking to someone who's,
Who have
you
no
know,
belief in themselves.
yeah, no belief at all. They just got fired, they just got laid off. What's wrong with me? I need a job, or I'm not going to be able to pay my bills.
Mhm.
yeah,
And the fact that we
therapy.
come into that, I mean, the fact that we
It is
come into that, yeah,
sometimes.
it
Yeah.
can absolutely be like
Yeah.
therapy.
People are
It
like, I didn't know I was so impressive. And it's
like
like,
I've been
yeah,
trying to tell you.
exactly. Exactly.
So it's really helped us out. I mean, if you go on LinkedIn, I think we're the top rated.
We
We're
yeah,
we're definitely up there in terms of like
we have the most recommendations of any LinkedIn resume writer, by far.
yeah,
Yeah, our
in the US at
clients,
least, I know
yeah,
that.
yeah, our clients are really happy with what we do, and we're really glad for that.
Yeah, and
I
we
love
like
it.
them to feel better about themselves afterwards too.
I love that because all too often, especially in our industry, there's so many people out there trying to sell you your dreams, right? And then you
Yeah,
get in there and it's either you've invested a lot of money or you haven't invested a lot of money. But either way, you don't end up with the outcome that you were looking for or the experience you were hoping to have or even the hand holding that you needed at the time that you were looking for it, And so like Gabby was saying, the warmth, the humanity, the like ability to walk someone through, and just sort of be like, all right, come on. Like, we can do this, right? You
yeah. Like
know?
we have the clients who are crying to us on the phone
Mm.
about how stressed they are and things like that. And it comes with the territory. It's something that if you aren't able to be empathetic, you're not in the right industry. And I know that sounds
Sure.
very strange, because resume writing can sound very, I don't want to say
Impersonal.
soulless, but like impersonal,
Yeah.
robotic. But
Yeah.
AI.
if you take it from that way, you're in the wrong industry. No one's
Yeah.
going to read that resume, because it's just, I mean, you could read a recipe book or a phone book and it would have the same effect.
And you guys focus on the entertainment industry, but you also expand outwards from there, correct?
Well,
We didn't really start out focusing on it. It just kind of
No?
happened.
Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
we do a lot of entertainment resumes, because we're based out of California, so it kind of just comes with the
Territory.
location.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do resumes for all types of people, from people working in retail all the way up to, the CEOs of the big retail giants. So
Yeah.
everybody and anybody
Yeah.
in between, basically.
Construction workers. Yeah,
Construction,
I
yeah.
just did a
Yeah.
construction worker the other day. Uh,
Wow.
and it's also to lend into how we just approach the whole thing. Uh, if you go to a lot of these like resume companies, we charge far less, because
Mhm.
we don't want to just cater to the top tier, executives and stuff like that, because then it does takes the flavor out of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. We should probably say it's the right choice resume. So, but it's written
Right.
like I'm
Yes.
writing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Right.
That's so
Resume.
cute. I love that little like, play on words. That's cool.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's cute. Who decided on that? Was that like a team
I think
effort?
that's yeah, it was kind of a team effort. We all just sort of were brainstorming names, and yeah, that came up, and I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
And
it's not so go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, so in the business, Danica's parents are also founders of the business.
Okay.
Mhm.
And Danica's mom is a writer, and her previous, it was like 2 or 3 businesses ago, when she was a writer for Reader's Digest and stuff like that. Her contractor name was right. It was spelled differently, but it was the right choice.
Oh,
Mhm.
cool.
So we
Okay.
kind of played off of that, and everyone was
Yeah.
pretty happy with
That's
it.
awesome. I was gonna ask what other family members are involved and like, yeah, so you just
Yeah. So
answered
there's
my
my
question.
mom, my dad, and my aunt, and then me and Brian. So it's a
Very
whole
cool.
family thing.
That's so cool. That was kind of stressful, I'm sure, when you guys was it an easy transition for you guys to like move out of what you were doing previously and into starting your own business? Because I mean, that's
Well,
like
I
a
mean, we
whole
were going
thing.
through a big transition at that point anyways. We moved from Canada to Mexico.
Well, that's a big
So
one.
Yeah, we were already sort of, doing something crazy and different. And my mom and I had been writing resumes for another person who his business was just, he was not organized enough. He was not looking to grow his business. He was, he would disappear for a few days at a time, which wasn't helpful. So yeah, we all just kind of decided like, let's just do this ourselves. And then, we can take this wherever we want to take this, and we don't have to wait for somebody who has decided to go off the grid for
Yeah.
a
All right.
week.
And we started with it just, we didn't mean for it to be successful. If that makes sense. We did it as a way to, we work remotely, this is going to be something that pays the bills. And within 2 or 3 months, it was like, oh my God, what is happening? It just,
Yeah, we had more work than we could handle.
yeah, we've had to turn away work. And
Yeah.
it was just one of those things where I never planned on being a resume writer. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I became a resume writer. I don't know.
Well, that's a happy surprise, like, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like a super happy surprise.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it
go
definitely was
ahead.
your approach, though. It definitely was your approach.
Yeah. I think when you're on the right path and you're doing the right things for the right reasons, things sort of like
Yes.
unfold for you. Not that that doesn't mean that you're not gonna have your hardships or your missteps or like difficulties, because yeah, I mean, there are some people that, just smooth sailing, but like, there's gonna be ups and downs. Okay, so we're winding things down because I don't want to take up your whole Friday night. We usually do like a roundtable fun question, but I didn't know if Lloyd or Gabby before, if you guys had any other last final questions that maybe you didn't have answered. I'm just gonna throw that out there real quick. Usually Angela is the one that has like wait,
Yeah.
but she couldn't make it tonight. But if you guys are good,
I don't have any questions, but it has been on my mind, and I have to say, because I brought it up earlier, in case you're wondering, the opening line of Rent, the musical, is how do you document real life when real life's getting more like fiction each day?
Oh, so good.
I
Wow.
think about it all the time.
Yeah, it becomes
That's
true,
so
more true
funny.
every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Lloyd. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
We usually do like a roundtable fun question. And so everybody, it's just a quick thing. If there's an explanation, you can, obviously expand on it if you want to. But I've got 3 different questions, and you can choose 1, 2, or 3. And it's just like, don't think too much on it. And I can go first if you want me to, or Gabby.
On the mono.
So 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, I'll have Danica pick. You can do
Let's do 3.
3. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, this is funny. Um,
Good sign.
okay. I was like, oh, there's another question that would have been perfect. Okay. What animal would you choose to transform into for one day? That's
Squirrel.
just like a wild one. I would be a bear. I would
I
say
think
bear.
elephant.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm a small person. I'd like to be big for a day.
Yes.
Oh,
And elephants are smart and they have
Yeah.
great memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're
Okay.
strong.
Yeah.
I would be an octopus.
An octopus?
That's a good answer.
That is a good answer. They have like
Really?
multiple hearts, and that makes sense because Gabby has like the biggest heart
Oh.
of anybody that I know.
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Panda.
Oh, you would totally be a
Oh,
good panda.
yeah.
Oh, I want to squish you. I just want to squish you. All right, Brian, you get to go.
Squirrel?
Oh,
He said squirrel like 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
You
hear
gotta-
you.
One big squirrel.
Yeah.
I'm
with
sorry.
with what Lloyd was saying earlier, I also have ADHD,
Ah.
and being a squirrel seems like it'd be a great time.
Yeah.
Just for like a day, it just seems like it'd be a lot of fun. I don't know.
That's
Do
so
what you want
funny.
whenever you want.
What
Just
popped?
as
I'm
you like,
sorry. Like what pops in my head is Over the Hedge, the movie Over the Hedge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. And he drinks like the RC cola and he's like,
He's-
yeah, that was a flying squirrel. That's funny. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to miss your squirrel comment. I was
Oh, no, it's all right. I said it
just-
like 4 times anyway, so I was
You
just super excited to get that out there.
squirrel. Gabby always has the final question of the night.
Okay, here I have well 2. What what little like token of advice would you give people um trying to create, or not create, I wouldn't say create a resume because they can obviously reach out to you guys, but kind of expose their what they do in a non-bragging way.
Like one tip, I guess, maybe. Like one tip they
Yeah,
could
one
start
tip.
with. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe
Um,
just one question.
kind of focus it on the way that you were. If someone were to ask you in just casual conversation, what do you do for a living?
Mm.
Just kind of a not too robotic. Just kind of have some depth to it. Believe in yourself. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't at least give yourself some grace, you're gonna have a heck of a time writing a resume.
Mm.
You need to know that other people are also struggling. Other people also don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just give yourself as much grace as you can. Try not to get too stressed out, because the more stressed out you get, the harder it's going to be.
Put down
That's like
everything.
life. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, when your doctor says like, "Oh, you have high blood pressure," try not to stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true. That's very true. Did you have one more? Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Oh gosh, it almost escaped me. Hold on.
What you want me to do the
Oh,
final
yeah.
question? Yeah, yeah, the
No,
final
I
final.
think that. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're
I'm only
breaking up a
asking
little
this
bit.
one.
Yeah.
I'm only asking this one because I know you guys, and I think it's a really cool thing. So, do you have any hobby? I mean, any like other interesting hobbies that you do?
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm really into astrology, so
Oh.
I do readings for people, and I'm taking a medical astrology course right now, which is very interesting and full of things that, don't necessarily make sense to a lot of people, but in my mind, they're like mind blowing. So yeah, I'm big into astrology. Brian.
I'm a professional genealogist on the side.
Oh my
Oh
God.
wow.
Which is honestly, I know that it sounds strange, but it has made me a better resume writer.
I love that. How?
The storytelling,
Okay.
the taking, say you're researching your grandfather or something like that, just taking the little things and expressing how important they are.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely helped.
So yeah, I'm
It
kind of
works.
And
Yeah.
I know what none of these things mean.
Neither do I.
We need a part two. We need a part two. You
We
guys have
do.
to come back on. And
Yeah. And then we can talk about like how this factors into like our careers and our
Yeah.
resumes, and we can talk about all that stuff. That would be fun. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I appreciate
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks
so
for having
much.
us.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really nice to meet you. Thanks, Gabby, for bringing them on. And we'll make sure if anybody wants to get a hold of you, we should probably do like the little businessy side of things. Like, how can they find
oh,
you? You mentioned LinkedIn.
Yeah, so we're on LinkedIn, Right Choice Resumes. So it's WRITE Choice, CHOICE Resumes. We're also at the same name for our website, just rightchoiceresumes.com.
Okay.
We do provide a completely free, no pressure resume analysis. We don't put it through any kind of AI or anything. We actually look at every resume and we read it all, and we, tell you exactly if your resume is not going to make it through ATS, we're going to tell you. And, so it's a good way to check and see where you're kind of at in your resume journey.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool. Thank you.
Yeah,
No
thank you so
problem.
much.
Yeah. I'm not gonna pause it. But we will like stop